This is my equation for the best vacation ever. Okay, so I recently moved from Canada to Paris, and I've been doing a lot of traveling. I just went on a trip to Italy with my brother, who was visiting from Canada. I have to be honest, just before departing, I was having a hard time getting excited about it. I mean, the idea of leaving super busy Paris, which I'm still kind of coping with, by the way, very hot heat wave, for even hotter Rome, and being another one of the million tourists that are taking pictures at the Trevi Fountain.
At 20 to 9 at night, and look at all the people. You know, is this really the way to travel? Is this what we're striving for? I mean, where am I going to find an Italian experience here?
I knew there must be a better way to create and plan vacations that are full of that travel wonder. So let's talk about this side of the equation. What we're looking for is some excitement, some connection to the place that we're going to and traveling to. And that feeling of travel wonder that I'm searching for, well, for me, that wonder started back in 1982, when I was just a little kid growing up in a town of 5,000 people on the east coast of Canada. I remember having a dream. I wanted to backpack from hut to hut through the Tyrolean Alps. Where did I even come up with this idea? I mean, there was no internet. Back then, we would get our lens of the world through National Geographic magazines. But my older brother used to order travel magazines and have them mailed to our house. And I remember flipping through one of these big brochures and seeing these pictures of people walking through these beautiful mountains. I can still feel that wonder inside me all these years later. So 100 points up for grab. 25 points means a pretty meh vacation. You can get to 75 points, I think you're having a pretty awesome time. Okay, a little bit sad to cut up my formula, but I think it'll make things easier for us. Okay, here we go. So using my Italian vacation with my brother as an example, how did I do? Our equation has packing worth 5 points, vocabulary, which is worth 10 points, local events, 30 points, restaurants worth 10, talking with tourists, 15 points, and chatting with locals, 30 points, for a total of 100. That would be a pretty good vacation.
Buon pomeriggio. As you can tell from my perfect Italian, we are in Italy now.
V is the number of words you know in the language of the country you're going to. In fact, I'm going to suggest that if you know how to say hello and thank you in that language, give yourself 5 points. But basically, a point for every word you know, maximum of 10, so 8 points for me. Don't be shy and self-conscious about it. People are going to appreciate it wherever you go. It has the potential to really, really improve your trip. P actually equals wheels on the ground. If you're using a suitcase like this, 4 minus 5 is minus 1 times minus 1 is 1 point. I use a backpack. 0 wheels on the ground. 0 minus 5 times minus 1 is 5 points. Look, I get it. Not everybody can pack light. But what I can say is you don't need a different change of clothing for every dinner that you're going out to. You are not coming to Europe to impress the locals with your North American style. Here in Paris, people do not dress like this. Just saying. The lighter, the better. Wheels don't work well on cobblestone streets. L is for the number of local events. This is a big one, 30 points up for grabs, and it can really make a huge difference. Concerts, festivals, local food markets, anything that just isn't advertised for tourists. For example, when my brother and I went away, we found this guy, Talk, and he plays for music festivals in North America, upwards of 60,000 people. And we saw him in a little tiny club, 260 people in a European city. It was awesome. So take a look at Spotify, go to websites that tell you what concerts are coming in whatever city you happen to be going to. Some sort of interaction with locals can really make your trip. So for us in Italy, 10 points for seeing the concert. and another 10 points for getting directions to a local food market to make it at home instead of going out. 20 points.
Okay, now we're going to try and find a bite to eat. Obviously with an intense, deep Italian experience. Jeez.
If you do not have any options planned before you even leave, chances are you're going to get stuck next to a giant tourist attraction.
Yeah, TikTok. Waiting for a pizza.
R equals the number of restaurants even have an option of going to. You know, you've looked at Google Maps, you've looked at TripAdvisor, you've pinned some various restaurants. That's what R equals. And E equals the number of evenings that you're going to be away for your entire trip. Finding nice dining options can really make your trip. It's a nice way to end your day. For my brother and I, we were gone for 10 nights. E equals 10, and we had dinner plan options for actually 7 of those nights, so 7 points. Talking with tourists, 3 points for every time you've spent 5 minutes chatting with another tourist. I wanted to make my equation look a little more sophisticated. If that person is from the same country as you, then it's kind of like an Excel equation here, then square root it. It's not worth as much. Maximum 15 points. Look, not everybody wants to go on vacation and make new friends, but my experience tells me that if you're walking around just taking pictures of the major landmarks and not speaking to anybody, it's not as fun as engaging as if you're speaking with other people and learning what they've seen or getting some tips, where to go tomorrow. It just makes for a more enjoyable vacation, in my experience. So, with my brother and I, talking with tourists, I'm pretty sure we maxed that out. I talked to 5 people times 3 points, so I get 15 points. Chatting with locals, 30 points up for grabs. You get 5 points for every 10 minutes that you spend chatting with a local. If it's part of a tour group, then square root it because it's just not quite the same authentic experience. This can change your entire travel experience. Transports you from just being in a tourist bubble to really feeling like you are somewhere different. For our Italian trip, we got to this little Airbnb. It was just us and our hosts living in sort of the house next door.
Florence is just over the hill. We're like 15 kilometers away. And it is so quiet here. It is so nice. Ooh, I haven't had quiet in so long.
And we asked them, hey, where is there a place we can go and have dinner? So he gave us some directions.
And now we're not even inside Florence. And it turns out we're gonna make dinner for our host tonight. And then tomorrow night, we're gonna have dinner again. So that's bound to be a little bit more of an authentic experience.
So for 3 nights, our hosts supplied wine, drinks, and my brother and I cooked dinner for all of us, and we hung out underneath this beautiful tree for 4 hours a night, chatting and becoming great friends. 3 days in Florence later, we didn't even go to Florence, and it was the best part of the entire vacation. It's easier said than done, but it's worth the effort. If you have a few bucks to spare, do an internet search for local guides wherever you happen to be going, and get sort of a private guide for part of a day. It'll just take you out of that tourist bubble and you'll hear real life stories about what it's like to live in the city. If you're chatting with a local person about where you're from, where you're going, what you've seen, those are the memories that last, not the pictures of the Eiffel Tower. So how did we do? Well, we spent hours and hours with our Tuscan hosts, so I absolutely get 30 points. But I had other interactions with locals too, small ones, like the waitress at our hotel in northern Italy showed me how she was folding their napkins for the dinner table, because I've never seen that before and it looked pretty cool. Okay, so let's add all this up. 5 points, 8 points. Yeah, I got 20 points there. That was the concert and the food market. 7 for restaurants, talking with tourists, 15, and chatting with locals, which is the big one, 30 points. That totals up to 85 points. You know what? It was an awesome vacation. I think if you can even get to 60 points, you're going to have a great time too. I hope your next vacation is full of wonderful experiences and wonder.